In the last video, we started talking about the elements of a powerful Google Classroom lesson, and we said that we had to have a learning target, steps to completion, content delivery, content processing, and evidence of learning. We already went over learning target. That's the simplest of all of them. Steps to completion, we're actually going to jump over right now. We'll circle back to that later. It does have to be present, but it's also the last thing we actually craft in our lesson. So let's talk a little bit about content delivery. Content delivery, I don't want you to overthink. I really want you to think about this is the material that you are handing out for students to read. It could be a video that you've either produced or that you've curated from someplace else that you're offering up for them to ingest. It could even be a completely external learning activity where you're saying, pick up this book that you brought home or this learning packet that you took home with you, or it could be go out and discover this information by doing a little scavenger hunt around your yard and you have something for them to learn as they go. It could be any of 1,000 different things, but essentially it's information that you're imparting to your students, knowledge that you're giving to your students somehow, some way. Don't overthink it, just make it simple. And to explain this or to kind of show this, I just want to show you right here, we have this video, how to edit videos using YouTube, right? And so this is the content delivery in this case, and it's simply a video. But if we have a different case, it might look something more like this, where we have this module 6 on coordinate planes is nothing more than a Google Doc, but it has instructions on there. It has examples built into it. It's information for students to digest. It's a curriculum piece that they can look at and learn from. Let's stop talking about all the different possibilities of what it could be, and let's just dive into Google Classroom and see how to add some content for your students to learn from. All right, I'm back here in the Bogus course. I'm going to go to the classwork and I'm going to hit create, and I'm going to do assignment again this time, because in the assignment is where I'm going to put both my learning target, which we talked about last time, the title, and now I'm actually going to add in some learning content for the students. Again, I can pull this from Google Drive. I can jump in here and find a video that I've created and saved to Google Drive, or some sort of tutorial piece. It could even be an image like what I'm adding right here. Let's say I'm an art teacher, or if I'm teaching something with an infographic, a piece of information can certainly be some learning content. Sometimes you'll even have more than one piece of learning content. So for instance, I'm actually going to put in a YouTube video as well. In this case, it's going to be about crafting your lesson objective. So here are the two pieces of information that I want students to digest and learn from. So I actually have two components that are learning content, but that's just fine as long as there is learning content present. Now we're going to stop for a moment and see that this learning content piece doesn't have the same option that this learning content piece has. This says students can view the file. I can also give them editing rights over this file, meaning that they can download it, edit it, write on top of it, etc. Or I can make a copy for each student, meaning they each get their own copy with their name on it. This becomes extremely important when we start talking about assessments and things, and we'll circle back to this in a little bit. But sometimes, even when you're delivering content to students, you may want to give them editing options. You may want to give them each their own copy. So just think through that as you post out learning content. And you will have this option, this drop-down option, when it's a Google Doc, an image from your Google Drive, a Google Slide, a Google Sheet. Most of the Google products and apps will give you this option to actually give them their own version, or files that you have in your Google Drive that you're pulling in very often have this option also, including PDFs if you're the owner of them. So just think about that as you're posting your content. Last time we took a look at giving something a point value. We're going to make this one ungraded. I'm going to review that you can certainly give this a due date, just as a reminder, so that you could say, I want this due June 30th at this time. And I could say I actually only want some of my students, not all of my students, or I can post it out to all of my classes at the same time. And that's your reminder about some of the other tools that are over here. So now we've gone over points, due dates. We haven't really talked about topics yet, but we'll get there. And then we have assignments and discarding drafts, etc. I'm going to go ahead and save this as a draft so that I can come back to it later. And that is the end of part 2 of crafting a good lesson.